Our sheets are free from toxins, have superior softness, and get softer with every single wash. They're so luxurious, they're beloved by 3 U.S. presidents. To top it off, we have a 30-night risk-free trial, plus free shipping and return. Our sheets are made different, so you can sleep better at night. Get 15% off your first set of sheets when you use promo code DEAL at bollandbranch.com. See site for details. That's BOLLAND branch.com. Promo code DEAL.
Coming up on KCBS, experts in Utah warn disaster comes. Great Salt Lake continues to shrink. We'll discuss in 5 minutes. At 1:15 with sports, here's Joe Hughes.
Warriors star Klay Thompson has been on a 3-year journey to get back to the NBA Finals. But after years of battling significant injuries, he has really struggled in his return to the championship stage. Klay's made less than a third of his shots from the field so far in the NBA Finals and gone just 4 of 15 on three-point attempts. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr telling our Odyssey sister station 95.7 The Game that he believes Klay is going to turn this around quickly.
Patience is the key. I mean, this has been his pattern, not only since he came back from the injury, just overall in his career. He just gets anxious and wants to impose his will on a game, and when that happens, he tends to take some bad shots occasionally.
Kerr adds that experience has taught him Klay Thompson knows how to break out of a slump.
Just get him to settle down, be patient, take good shots, especially early. And when he's done that, this year in the playoffs, we've seen him have monster games, whether it's against Denver, Dallas, or Memphis. We know it's going to come around. He's just got to be a little more patient and show a little better judgment with shot selection.
Klay joked yesterday that he was planning to head over to YouTube and search Game 6 Klay as a way of finding some inspiration, but looking back at some of the earlier playoff series, there is plenty of optimism that Klay Thompson's primed for a big night. He's averaging 22 points a game in Game 3s this postseason, and he trends towards having bigger and bigger games as series go longer and longer. Warriors and Celtics Game 3, that'll tip off tonight at 6 p.m. From the Sports Desk, Joe Hughes, KCBS.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with expertise and tools with Windows 11 to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. To do more with a Latitude laptop, Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
For a smarter start to your day, start with us. Stream KCBS for news, traffic, weather, business, and more. Tell your smart speaker to play KCBS Radio. We are the Bay Area's news station, KCBS.
A's fans, grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family. For tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group for Friday games all season. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Victor Zaragoza is keeping track of traffic, starting us off with a look at Oakland.
On Highway 13 southbound between Moraga Avenue and Park Boulevard, you got tree work going on with the right lane closed till 2 o'clock. That's what's causing slow traffic there. On 80 westbound, leaving the Berkeley area, headed towards Emeryville and Oakland. Got very slow traffic from before University Avenue to the 880-580 interchange. Trying to leave San Francisco on the lower deck of the Bay Bridge. Northbound 101 after Cesar Chavez to the lower deck. Now, if you're just trying to get into the downtown area of San Francisco, you may want to consider taking 280 off of 101 to the 6th and King Street exit. And also on Highway 1 in both directions, very slow traffic in the Muir Beach area. This has to do with tree work going on, so Caltrans has one-way traffic control between Pacific Way and Frank Daly Road, and this is scheduled till 3 o'clock. Your next traffic update at 1:28 on the Traffic Leader, KCBS.
Thank you, Victor. The KCBS 6-day forecast. We've got hazy sunshine today. Highs from the 60s at the coast, 70s around the bay, and the 80s inland. Partly cloudy tonight with lows in the mid-50s. Sunny and hot tomorrow. Highs from the 60s coastside, the mid-80s inland, and then much warmer Friday and Saturday. An excessive heat watch in some bayside and inland areas on Friday. Highs in the 60s and 70s coastside, 80s to the upper 90s around the bay, low 100s inland on Friday, highs in the 90s on Saturday. And then sunny and cooler Sunday through Tuesday with a return of the coastal fog, highs from the 60s to the mid-80s. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time is 1:20. The Great Salt Lake in Utah is drying up, leaving the community around it thirsty and at risk of poisonous dust storms filled with toxic heavy metals that used to be at the bottom of the lake. The lake currently covers only about a third of the area covered in the 1980s. And for more, we're joined on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by Dr. Robert Gillies, Professor of Plants, Soils, and Climate at Utah State University and Director of the Utah Climate Center. Thanks so much for being with us this afternoon.
My pleasure.
So one Utah lawmaker says that Utah faces an environmental nuclear bomb. Is he accurate? What are you facing?
Well, it certainly looks like that. Well, you just mentioned the decline in the lake level, and some of the research that we've done here in Utah Climate Center actually shows that continuing.
Talk about what exactly would happen to, say, ski conditions, birds, air in Salt Lake City, not to mention people.
Right. Well, the ski resorts are very concerned, obviously, because of our changing climate, which is shifting from one that's snow-dominated to one that's rain. And then, of course, as the lake sort of dries up, then we will no longer have what's called the lake effect, which actually produces moisture, which is part of the equation for the resort. Of course, for the birds, same thing, because they rely on that as they migrate. And then, of course, the economic part of it is the brine shrimp, as well as the other industries around the state.
And I was stunned to read about the high levels of arsenic. What's the situation there, and what time frame are we talking about?
So, the arsenic and the other toxic chemicals, I mean, that is quite stunning. And, of course, I was actually taken aback by the piece, in California, did you read that part?
About Owens Lake?
Yeah, Owens Lake, so that's maybe our mirror image as far as, what's going to happen here in Utah.
And for people who aren't familiar, Owens Lake went dry decades ago and produced the world's levels of dust pollution, really bad pollution in the United States, and basically turned the community into a ghost town. So we're talking about Salt Lake City. This is a very popular place. This is an area that's growing. It's very attractive for the tech industry. It's very attractive for the mountain lifestyle. What kind of time frame are we talking here?
Well, we're talking probably maybe 20 years out, and it's very difficult to get to that sort of level of prediction. We have our prediction on the Utah Climate Center's website, which goes out to 2026, and it's just simply showing a continuation of the decline.
What can be done to change this? Can the lake be saved, and what would it take to turn things around?
Well, that's a tough one. I mean, when we actually talk about the Great Salt Lake, sort of research that we've done is that we've actually linked the Utah groundwater resource to the Great Salt Lake water level, right? So it's in synchrony. And so by the decline of the Great Salt Lake, we're also getting a decline in the groundwater reserve. And that provides most of the water along the water front, for all the uses. So what can be done? Obviously, we're talking about they're not very pretty conservation. We're talking about, not taking too much water out in terms of agriculture. Agriculture uses about 80% of our water resources in Utah. And we're also talking about perhaps, so the Great Salt Lake is fed by two rivers, the Weaver, the Jordan, and the Dare. and there's a lot of talk about the Bear River starting taking water out of that to alleviate this issue, and that was what's caused further decline. So the solutions are not that easy.
Well, let's hope it can be done. Thanks so much for being with us. We've been joined on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by Dr. Robert Gillies. He's a professor of plant, soils, and climate at Utah State University and director of the Utah Climate Center. Basically, the Great Salt Lake in Utah is drying up. On to the Money Watch. Here's Joan Doniger from the Bloomberg Newsroom.
People who work for Twitter may have to hit the road to come back to work if the $44 billion deal selling the social media platform to Elon Musk goes through. And Twitter's top lawyer says, oh, it will, but she says the merger agreement does not cover remote work, so there's no guarantee Musk will allow it. Musk is getting access to Twitter's so-called fire hose of data, according to the Washington Post, that he's demanded to see how many spam accounts are on Twitter. Facebook's parent company is a leader in a new social media trend. 8 lawsuits filed over the past week against Meta Platforms accused Facebook and Instagram of building algorithms that addict young people, causing things like eating disorders, even suicide. Meta says it has developed tools for parents to keep track of their kids' activity on Instagram and set limits. Wall Street worried about inflation. On a day, oil prices topped $122 a barrel. The Dow dropped 269 points, the Nasdaq 89, the S&P 45. Joan Doniger, Bloomberg Business for KCBS.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning on...
Oh, I wanted to do that anyway. And that's right there. No, that's... I'll make them. Let's take